Good morning. Isn't it? I feel like it is. Man, it's a good thing we were paying attention to that price action while everyone was telling you that we hit the 200 and we were going to crash back down to 400. And we were saying the price action says no, the hell that is not happening. And then, hey, you get the benefit of some good news. So we get to skip a big sequence of what's going on here. Remember that we were really liking this level right here. Weirdly enough, happens to be the monthly expected move. You're actually in a critical level right now. We can see that. But this is your true breakdown block up in this area. So this one right here will be very interesting if we can get there. I do think this will continue, but just to be 100% honest with how things like to move, right? If I see good profit, I like to take it, and we are at a decision-making area. This means most likely hedging and stuff like that, maybe, but more so taking profit, leaving runners, or taking full profit, right? Those three decision-making things that I like to mention when we are at a weekly expected move very early on in the week. Even though I do think that this will be able to continue, it doesn't mean you can't get some kind of like 30-minute whipsaw kind of thing to happen here. The more likely thing, as this is extremely bullish, is you are going to see like something, hopefully you see this, the gap up, you're able to hold price, maybe even at that weekly expected move. And then you're able to see that extended move later on. I don't know if that would be for Wednesday. I'm more talking about like the small time frames. And then you see a push. And then we have to watch out for what? Well, isn't everyone going to forget that we have data coming out this week? Tomorrow we do get CPI. We get the core inflation rate month over month, core inflation rate year over year, inflation rate month over month, inflation rate year over year. And one thing that is being caused by all this, you get PPI later on. I think there's one more. Building permits, housing starts. Okay. But tomorrow we get CPI. So just be aware of that. Shit, I just lost my train of thought for a second. Wait, CPI. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, yields. The thing that this is doing to the yields, though, is causing them to climb, which means what? The bond market right now, TLT, for the most part, not happy, right? TLT not happy. Retesting the lows from April, which we did not necessarily do for the SPY. So you have the TLT kind of doing the opposite. This could be a problem over time here, but we'll see what happens. For the time being, that would just be something to keep on your radar. I'm not trying to scare you into thinking something is bearish here. Nothing here is bearish. The daily trend is going to be able to continue. We are going to see more upside. And even though everyone's looking down here and it's still possible to go down to here, but this would say going all the way to this low is very, very improbable now. Even though everyone's bringing up 2022, we're in a completely different environment. Even the point that they're bringing up with 2022 had a 5 push down, not a 3 push down. Okay, so the things we'll be paying attention to today are more so going to lean around, hey, what decisions do I need to make around this weekly expected move? As we look at the 30-minute chart, I mean, you can go into futures charts or something like that and just see that like eventually this 30-minute is going to pull back. Hopefully that pulls back with time, right? You see something like this, and this is a 30-minute on the future, so just be aware of that. But it just shows you how extended this move really is for the time being. So this is kind of a scenario where a lot of the time I'm saying to myself, hey, take your money and run. That's kind of how I feel about these type of trades a lot of the time. I've gone through them a few times. They're fantastic. Apple getting up to that gap fill, that's exactly what I wanted, all the way up to gap fill, if not 217. But gap filled this quickly, I will potentially, I'm 99% sure that I will be selling every call option that I have right now. And a big reason for that as well is so I don't have to like see something like this where, where time can eat at me. I also do this so I'm ready for the next one. I'm being patient, right? I go from it's kind of like the expansion, right? Expansion into contraction. Okay, well, I like to go from taking a trade to being patient, taking a trade to being patient. So this would be like patience leads me into a trade. That leads me into taking profit early, right? Which leads me into what? Patience. And then the cycle starts all the way back over, right? That's kind of how I think about it in these times. So just want to put that out there. Obviously, we're different. We think about risk differently. We think about money differently. We think about everything to do with stocks probably differently, even with trading and things like that. We can just understand each other maybe in certain ways. Maybe we understand each other more than necessary, but each person is different. And that's how I like to do things. So I will be getting out of everything most likely right away in the morning, even though I think it will continue. I want to be one of those people that make profit and not one of those people who chase profit and think it's going to get to, say, this purple line, and then it gets to this line, and then we see a big gap down. And then I just lose out on everything. So that's what I'm thinking about this morning. I don't know how you guys are treating it, but I'm really liking it, trying to keep a level head about it, right? That's always a good thing. Patreon members, that's what we were overall talking about this morning, right? On Patreon, we put out a video. I was up early this morning. I could tell my body was excited because I knew what was going on last night. So I woke up early and I said, I need to make sure to put myself in a level-headed space, right? So I'm going to go out in the morning and I'll tell you guys something I like to do when this happens to me. When I know a trade's going to be good the next day, like in the morning, and I can tell my body's excited, I want to calm my body down. So what I did this morning was at 5 a.m., I went to the gym. I went to the gym, cranked out a big workout, got a nice breakfast, brought my wife some breakfast home, and that way I can sit now, and instead of being like, oh, yay, I'm excited. Oh, yes, yes, yes. No, I can just be like, all right, now I know my plan, right? I can be very level-headed. So impressive. You've been making some awesome predictions. Kudos. Hey, Nazim, what did I tell you about bear market volatility? Bro, just wait till this is an actual bear market. Cold plunge for you. Blind panic buying, going broke, screaming into a pillow, repeat. Have you sold your Apple calls? No, not necessarily yet. No. I was not hitting a weekly expected move on Monday versus a Thursday. Thursday, okay, so what you want to take into consideration, Jonty, is time. So here's how we look at it. Where I'll mark off Friday close. Let's mark off Friday close because this is actually a very good question. This is a very good question. I came on early today, if you notice, so that we could get these questions because most likely at market open, I'll be focusing on getting filled. But if we take into consideration Friday, like the end of the day on Friday, bam. Okay, so that's the end of the day on Friday right there. So on this 30-minute chart, if I'm seeing this, how much time to Friday do I have? A lot. Now, if I'm seeing this, let's say Thursday we broke through, Friday morning we're continuing to break through. How much time do I have to get back into that move by the end of the day? Not long. So if I have more time, then I would actually consider it better to say stay out of the position. But let's say maybe this shaped up differently, right? A lot of the time squeezes will do this on a Friday and then continue that on Monday, a lot of the time. And then they'll go to that second expected move, and that's usually where FOMOers get caught. So pretty much, if you're going to, say, crash on a Monday, or you're going to squeeze in a certain direction, whichever direction that is on a Monday, a lot of the time you'll see those confirmations on a Thursday. It doesn't mean every single time. It just means that's what I notice most of the time. And a lot of the time it'll look something like, oh, a big move, oh, a massive drop. Then you see a spike up, then you consolidate, and then you break through, maybe closing like this. And if you close like this, a lot of the time it's like, okay, this move is going to actually see that extension. So it is a good question. And what you want to consider is time. If it's happening early on in the week, you have a long time to come back into that move. If it's happening later in the week, well, you don't have much time. You're already done right there. Okay. So take that with a grain of salt because of the, unexpected thing you're experiencing, but this is a good question. GME, I think GME is doing what GME needs to do. You need to see more than this. The 2 hour was able to go positive. So if you remember on GME, I took a lot of the things off. But if you remember in GME, we were marking off this zone. I believe it was the bottom of here to here. Okay, we were marking off this zone. The reason this was really bad is because you peeked your head like to the very bottom of the zone. I actually think we included the wick. So let's make sure to be honest here. You came down to the bottom of the zone. What does that mean? Well, you broke out of the zone, you tapped into it twice, you go up, you make the new high, which is very interesting to me. Then you fall with the 2-hour divergence, right? Okay, and the daily crosses down saying daily pullback. But what did you do in here that saved it? The gap, right? This reacted up. This is where you needed to reject. Right here should have been rejection if this was going to get ugly. It didn't. It saw a gap up. That is fantastic. That is really, really good. And you get these little peaks above, peak above, tiny little peak above, and then you break through. This is exactly what you want to see for this to fail. That's great. Once you take back that center point, still understand that you haven't really broken through, right? If you would break through, then you would probably retest in this and then down again, right? Or you would just head down right here. So GME did something very, very good last week with this little gap up into Thursday. That's fantastic. You took back the center, and then by the end of the week, you saw the little breaks, and then you actually break through. And now you're extending to the upside. Look for a new high here. That would be a good sign. And then what can you do again? You can dip right back into this zone, okay? You can dip right back into this zone to grab liquidity. There's great liquidity there, it seems, for GME. This is good stuff. Now, is this the big moment? We'll see in the next 2 trading sessions if this is going to continue to be good. A lot of money flowing into the market right now. AMC, not seeing as much benefit either. Okay, so these things are lagging behind. If you were going to see a massive move from like AMC, you probably wanted to see a huge gap today. You didn't get it. You wanted to see like a 50% gap, if I'm totally honest. GME, though, it can keep kind of squeezing in that actual like a stock, like squeeze, kind of do this, squeeze, kind of do this, squeeze, right? That's kind of what you want to see from GME. So does it look good? Yes. Can it get ugly from here? Yes. And what are you looking for? The same things. You're looking to lose this zone. But as you look at it now, you're just like, okay, we are building and building in this area. So bam, 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 bam. Look for the break. That's why I want a new high again. I want a new high. I want it to show me the way higher. So does it look great? I would say it looks all right. I would want daily confirmation back. You have it on the price action. You have it on the RSI. You're waiting on the MACD. But this, is a time where this could be done, right? This could literally just be a very light consolidation. I won't really say right shoulder, but I will say consolidation in a very, very important area. We can see that very, very important. So I think it's great. I think it's great for the stock. I hope it continues. But we'll have to see over time. The 30-minute for now can experience a pullback at any point, and that would still be bullish, right? You are back into the other zone, right? So this is why I'm not leaving the drawings up, because you're pretty much stuck between 2 zones. You're kind of like this here. If you see it, you're kind of like this here. So the fact that you're able to take it back is good. You want to see that remain up here. It can do this, right? But it's a little bit riskier, and you'd need to see it cross through the center again to have an attempt to break through. So what you'd want to see is it hold that center. Hold into that center. Also, why is this color so awful? There we go. Why do I have it as red? Oh, it's because I was doing orange, okay? Just do white. Let's keep it clean. So yeah, something like this. And what you want to see is it hold price here, or at least, not react all the way down again. You can though, right? Because this is a whole nother zone. So you're kind of ping-ponging. You're ping-ponging between these 2 zones. So you want to see it continue, that'd be great. Volatility breaking down by almost 10%, now curling down on the 5-minute, going negative. So the squeezing, very likely to continue. This means that if we're going to make reversal signals, those reversal signals most likely will take place up here. You are leaving behind an extreme gap. Okay, so take that into consideration. You are leaving behind an extreme gap here, which means what? Remember later on how we talked about maybe OpEx, or maybe I'm wrong about OpEx, and maybe, what likes to reverse around daily charts? 2-hour charts, right? So if we're going to see a big pullback here, which I'm going to make this a little bit easier to see. you're going to see a big pullback here, well, then what would we want to see? We'd potentially want to see this again, just up here. We'd want to see it up here. So this means if this weekly expected move is going to matter, you could get this huge 2-hour move. We could back off. Like this week, we could back off. See that tap into where? Into here. Then see a boom on Friday, maybe even taking you into later next week a little bit. And then you start to pull down going into expiration. I think that would be very, very nice. And then everyone starts to say crash here, and you just go, hey, fill the gap. Didn't react below this wick. Didn't react below 545 with the awareness that we can go fill the gaps. I don't know what would cause that at this point if things are seriously de-escalating. I'm not leaning towards filling those gaps right now. I'm not. I think now you're looking for the pullback. If you're missing out on this, you're looking for that pullback to fill this gap and then say, there's your bull run of 2025. But there's no guarantee that this is going to come anymore. I mean, you're seeing crazy good price action out the gate. It really depends on if things shape up here. So we'll go over it. For now, you know, you're in that bullish market, so buy the dips, sell the rips. That's the kind of market we're in right now. Can we look at Tesla? Yeah, let's go look at Tesla. I want to say that was a very good question, though, about when confirmations are happening. Oh, look at that, 328.50 coming. It's gonna happen. I think 328.50. But you got to just say thank you, right? You got to say thank you to Tesla and just kind of be like, all right, that's a great trade. Awesome. Tesla does very crazy things, guys. Tesla could literally do this, go all the way back down, go all the way back up this week. That's how much implied volatility Tesla always has. So Tesla, for the most part, great trade. For me, I would look at a weekly expected move and let the weekly expected move tell me if the trade is done. That'd be me, though. It looks like Tesla actually still not even at the weekly expected move yet. So you might have some more room here. AKA, I like 328.50 personally. But the weekly expected move is below that just a little bit. That is over on Patreon if you'd like to get it. I did notice gold seriously breaking down. Remember gold, we're going to take this out for now. Remember that gold is really starting to, I think it's going to start to consolidate. And then we might get that breakthrough kind of moment, either break up or break down. Just be aware of it. Let's look at some interesting ones. Actually, let's look at Amazon, because Amazon had the bad reversal signals, and look at Amazon. What did we say about these? I didn't want to take a trade with Amazon because of how it looked, but I understand that if you draw a wedge like this and you think that 100% of the time it's going to do this, you need to pay attention to environments when that is very, very probable and when it's not probable, right? A bad deal with China could have caused it, but you have to understand, if you don't head down, you're going to distribute all of this to the upside. You're going to distribute that all to the upside, okay? So if you don't break down and you're tight and you don't break down from a wedge, what happens is usually you break up with the same amount of, say, like velocity or say speed or strength, okay? This is very, very good for Amazon. And you're leaving a gap behind in your zone. So now what I would really like from Amazon is to pull back. Now, maybe that's able to get to like 215 first. You get up to 215. You then rotate back down. You come to fill that gap. And then you push to the upside again. That's what I would really like to see. But I'm going to leave Amazon open because I would say I would leave Amazon open to fill these gaps because of the whole China thing. If something at all goes wrong with the US and China throughout these negotiation periods, I know they're de-escalating. The way that I checked if it was real, you're hearing a lot of people on the internet say that it's not real. You don't have to even look at the dollar. You can go on to Shein. You can go on to all of those websites that were showing the tariffs. And yesterday, right after the news, I had my wife check, and you no longer have the tariff pricing. That means it is very fucking real. So if anyone's telling you it is not real, it can change. But at this point, with the information you have, the information you actually have is real. And I checked that by looking at Shein. I checked that by looking at those platforms that were showing those tariffs. Big shout out to my wife because I do not have any of those apps on my phone. I do not like to shop there. I bought one pair of shoes from Shein one time. They were size 11. They came in and they were size like 5. So I never bought anything from there again. Blow off top is definitely there. Blow off top is definitely there. We could just that's why I'm saying you're not necessarily guaranteed to see that pullback down to here. If all goes well, I still think you're going to get it, Dave. I still think you're going to get it. I think that rich people are always, or Wall Street are always mad when they're not in the initial move. They're not in the initial move. They probably most likely are, but a lot of them will be mad that they're not. And they're going to say, okay, we're going to give you guys another opportunity. Don't worry. We'll print some bad stuff in the news to tell retail to get rid of everything before the actual bull run. That's why I think it'll happen. I think the psychology of the market kind of encourages that. All right, so very, very good. Hopefully you guys are benefiting from it. You people who were able to assume some risk over the weekend. I know Jonna was saying, hey, I'm going to hold on to Apple. Hey, Apple is showing you some good things. Shit, you have a 12-point move higher at this point. That is just fan-freaking-tastic. So we'll see. Good stuff. Microsoft, let's look at Microsoft and what level it's getting to for the time being. Microsoft not seeing as much. That's actually, I think, a good thing for the structure of the stock. This actually kind of, this in a way, Dave, leans me towards, remind me of the book. The book is, shoot, The Psychology of Money. I always forget his name. Psychology of Money, great book. It is by Morgan Housel. Fantastic book. Just fantastic book. It kind of teaches you a lot of what we talk about here. Pretty much like every single chapter is you're going to be like, wow, we've talked about stuff like that before. It's very cool. And you'll learn some stuff maybe about yourself, and maybe you'll be able to reflect and be like, okay, how do I think about money, right? Asking that question, writing those things down will be a good thing, especially when you're using your money to trade. It's very important to understand how you understand money, in my opinion. Very, very nice, though, for Microsoft. Why this is kind of leaning me towards, like, I don't think this is blow off top just yet, is because Microsoft isn't just like gapping up to here, gapping up to 460 or something. It's going to 447. It's going to the critical level that you needed to break through. So if that falls flat, oh, you can see that pull down. You don't have to reach down to these type of levels yet. You can pull down, then curl back up. Then you reach down to those levels, show something awful, and then you see that blow off top moment. But that is reading into the future. That is just a scenario, right? We have to see what actually happens. Reality is the most important thing, right? Reality is the most important thing. So if we see a 2-hour chart, even for Microsoft or whatever, if we see a 2-hour chart go up here and then consolidate and go sideways and then break through, we should experience upside. And then after that upside, if we see us go up, we dip back into here very quickly, and then we turn to the upside, and we do not make a lower high, but instead we see that extend. Okay, awesome. We should head to the upside. All right. And if that continues the whole time, you are in that bull run. You're in that blow off top. You're in that blow off top. So I don't think that we can say you're in it right now. I think that I am leaning towards the psychology of the market of this one. That's another scenario that we don't know if it's happening yet. The price action will tell us if it is, right? The price action will tell us if it isn't, right? That bearish thing. We can still pay attention to the bearish thing, even though it's super improbable right now. 581.27, just great stuff, man. You just can't be like, yeah, thank you for typing it out. Huberman has a podcast with him. I might have to do it. Please put it in a comment. Please, Jonna, look at Primal Footprint. Thank you so much for typing it out for me. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I think it's like $10 on Amazon. If you have Prime, I don't know. I think it's $10. It is a great, great read. It is the best financial read that I've had. Now, I like psychology, but they're very good at, and thank you so much, Sarab, for joining us today. Thank you for subscribing. But yeah, it's a very good read too. It's not just like telling you things, like just like telling you money things. It's telling you examples of people and what they did. And it'll tell you a lot about, say, like, if you just have a lot of time, okay, how does it explain how time is important? Well, it uses Warren Buffett, and it talks about him a lot during, and says he was a benefactor of time. Time was it was the fun stat was, I believe it was, if Warren Buffett stopped, he almost stopped investing when he was 60 and pulled everything out or something like that. If he would have only had $11 million, right? Weekly moves are still valid. Weekly moves are always still valid. You are experiencing an unexpected thing. So now you pay attention to unexpected levels. So thank you guys for joining. Hey, 130 people. We have a good chunk of people in here right now. So on Patreon, we do give out for each individual stock and others. We give out and for the SPY and the Qs, we give out the second standard deviation. So if you're seeing something absolutely crazy this week, a 5% moment, which is kind of crazy, like I said, it would be a freaking miracle for Trump to actually get a trade deal kind of done and signed off now. That is actually crazy. Like the UK moment itself is psycho. And you experienced it, right? That's really cool. You guys should acknowledge that. Like you literally lived through a once in a ever, not a lifetime, ever moment. So here's the level though. I'll give you the SPY, 595.90. 595.90. 595.90. I can't read today. My apologies. 595.90 to the upside for the SPY. That is the one that I will give you. Patreon members, I highly suggest you go check your Patreon right now. Look at that second standard deviation and put this on your charts if you do have a trade, especially for ones like Apple, especially for ones like Amazon. These would be great to put it on there. Anything that is seeing crazy upside, Tesla is not seeing crazy upside. This is still priced in by the market as of right now, but most likely that will extend a little bit. So yeah, if you'd like, get that level on your charts. If you're going to continue to see something crazy, that means we would get to something like 595.90, which this is a massive upward move. If anyone still has those shorts down in here, yeah, they're going to get squeezed the hell out of those positions. You might see, if big institutions have those positions, you might see margin calls early on this week, which if margin calls come in, that means they're going to have to flip the script really quick, which means this can extend. Waking up with big profits in the morning. Thank you for the early video on Patreon. Yeah, I just wanted to mellow people out, Jonna, okay? Just really wanted to, like, it happens to me too, right? I a good trade, of course it's going to make me excited, right? A 3x, a 4x, of course it's going to make me excited. But the big thing here is, what decision am I going to make while I'm excited, right? Can I be in control of that? So I just went to the gym, I calmed down a little bit, and I go, where are we? We're at the weekly expected move. This is the decision-making area for the week. If I have extended options, I could maybe take a little bit of profit, leave those runners, see if we can get to where? 591.79, right? This would be a great week to test the monthly expected move. And then at this point, you would say, this is my extreme decision-making level, right? Fantastic. AMD, we can go look at AMD as well. Similar scenario. You're in the same scenario for all of these, by the way. Most of these are going to be, where am I at with the price action? This is a very massive zone. I know it's really big. This means I would like to see that extend up to here, but we could see that flowy type move before we get there, and then we come down and fill some gaps. So we'll see, but for the most part, this is where, this is why we were talking about last week. Weekly expected moves, monthly expected moves. When you're experiencing something like this, it can feel like some people have this feeling, I don't know what to do. I want to hold it in case there's more. I want to sell it in case I lose, but where do I know that price? Okay, let the options market tell you. Hey, are you experiencing something crazy? Is this going to be great money? Okay, then it would say, okay, then that would move you outside of a weekly expected move. Is AMD outside of a weekly expected move right now? Yes. So even with that information, you still have a 68% chance to close back down there. Even though it's unexpected, you're experiencing something crazy, but you have a lot of time throughout the week. I don't think we fail it. I think we potentially will close outside of that move. But do we have some rocks down the stream? Right? I'm giving you what goes through my head, which makes me make a decision. Right? And I'm not someone who says, I wish I would have held it seriously. I'll always say, I wish I would have held it, but I'm not going to say that seriously. Right? Be one of the people who make money in the move. That's always the important thing. Be one of the people who, when everyone's excited, right? What did we say about the housing market? What do we kind of use the housing, right? Or you could take it like car lanes. Lane 1, lane 2, lane 3. And you're here, right? Say you're here, right? So you're here. All right, you're trying to figure out, do I go bearish? Bullish. Okay, well, the signs that I see are go bullish. Okay, so I went bullish. But now everyone in this lane has moved over to here. So what did that do? Well, that means, and potentially everyone in this lane potentially moving to like here. So now who's in this lane? Nobody. Who's in this lane? A few people. Who's in this lane? Everybody. When everybody is doing something, I want to potentially do the opposite. Now, that doesn't mean short in this scenario because you're a bullish run, but I might want to go back into what? A neutral stance, right? Going back to neutral here is a very good thing. Mellowing out your emotions to go back to neutral and understand, hey, there's a car crash that is potentially not going to be taken care of up here. And if that car crash is in this lane, then everyone's going to have to go back into this lane, which means what? We could experience a pullback. Okay? So if you think about it in those type of ways, those kind of critical thinking ways, you kind of go, okay, so when everyone wants to buy a house, houses are what? Expensive. When no one wants to buy a house, houses are what? Not as expensive. Right? Usually, right? It kind of, housing market's a little different. It depends on a lot of different things. But it would say most of the time when no one wants to buy a house, when everyone is, the better way to put it is not no one wants to buy a house because of price. No one wants to buy a house because it's risky. Right? Right now, everyone believes buy a house, there's no risk, right? There's no risk to it's like 2008 all over again, where people are like, the housing market will never crash kind of deal. You are hearing some of that around. I think the housing market will extend. I don't think it'll go to new all-time highs, but I think it will extend, and I think prices will remain high. And then you're going to experience probably something really bad for the housing market, and then no one will be wanting to buy a house because everyone's going to say, oh my gosh, I don't have the money for it. I'm not able to do it, blah, blah, blah. But the main point of this is just when everyone wants calls, usually you want to be selling them those calls because it's going to be very, very nice money-wise. When everyone wants puts, you usually want to be looking for reversal signals, right? That's kind of how it goes. So what do you think here? Do you think here with that news, people who missed out and they're seeing a massive gap up, what do you think their mentality is today if they're not in good control of their emotions and they don't understand how markets move? If they were really bearish here, well, oh, now all of a sudden they're going to be mega bulls. You're going to see Meet Kevin saying this is the most bullish thing ever. And then he's going to tell you it's the most bullish thing ever. And then you're probably going to get a pull back down to here or even all the way back down to 550. That's just how it's going to shape up. All right, this is why it's important to know who's telling you what already happened versus who's going to tell you what is happening and who has the best outcome, who has the best outlook of what is happening. They go FOMO. Yeah, and that's why it's like you can leave runners. Why? Because that FOMO might drag price up to here. Like you can leave runners. It's just me, myself. I see this big of a 3% move here is great. Apple getting a 6% move in like 2 days from when I bought it. Yeah, that's going to be great for an option. And we talked about it on Patreon. It's not just the value going up in the underlying asset. It's also the value going up because people will chase this and you will be able to get premiums. You will be able, you will see an increase in price just because of demand. That is most likely going to take place today. That is why, me this is me, right? Once again, you do your own thing. I'm just talking about decisions I like to make. I want to sell people that premium price because I think that they don't understand the risk here. Apple to 220 in the short term. I think, yeah, I think 217. I really have that, like, I think it was 221. Where was it? It's up at the high here. 225. 225 is the top of your zone. That'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. That'd be so good. So good. I want you. Oh, that's good stuff. Oh, there we go. Keep extending. 6 minutes till the open. We have a little bit here. Now, I am going to leave it on the 30-minute for the SPY. I am going to make sure to go take care of my stuff early on, so you might hear me a little bit quiet in the first 5 minutes here. But I hope you guys are... I came on early just to give you guys a good spiel before we get started. This is why shorting in this environment very, very difficult. Sebastian, thank you so much for the 20. Get your wife a bunch of flowers and keep up the good work. Hey, thank you guys for the donations. For Mother's Day, she was able to go get a dress and some leather pants, and I told her, I said, this is from you guys. I said I gave all the credit to you guys who were donating. I really appreciate it. You guys who are liking the stream, contributing to the channel in any way. I made sure to tell her it was from you guys. That was fantastic. I made a beautiful dinner for her, and I didn't mess it up. It was on my checklist. It said, Lucas, do not fuck up dinner. And I did not. It was very, very good. So we had a great time. So thank you, thank you, thank you. She does not shop for herself very much at all. So she was able to, and I got her some earrings. So that was fine and dandy. Loved it. Question is where to go long. The where to go long now becomes much more complicated if you're not already in the move, right? This is why I said, yeah, I'm selling my SPY stuff, but I'm going to keep my Apple stuff, right? I bought Apple more down in these type of areas. We can look at that again when the confirmation actually happened because I don't remember what day it was. But Apple confirmed the divergence. I was willing to hold on to Apple throughout this. So Apple is going to be a 3X. Peanut butter and jelly is a tough one. Shorting any environment bad when there is endless money printing. Actually, the money printers got turned on apparently as well. We can see that from also China really turned on the money printers. That being said, you actually bring up a great topic, Wannabe. It is much easier to take calls and be right in the US markets than it is to take shorts and be right. Did you know that? It's much easier. Why? Because most of the time the market's going up. Most of the time the market is positive. Most of the time the market is good, right? So it is much easier, and you're pointing out one of those things that maybe frustrates you, right? It's probably frustrating. You're like, damn it. But all you need to know is that little thing, and you go, oh, okay. All right, cool. Now I know that if I really wanted to be successful, most of the time bullish trades are going to be the thing. Exactly. And now it's getting exponentially bigger, Wannabe. And eventually that game's going to end. I'm telling you right now, eventually that game is going to end. And I think what's going on now is proving to you that it's not going to end right now. I think you could see this end late stages of 2025 or start to show those cracks in the late stage, like fall to winter of 2025. And then I think we could see this more leak into 2026. And I would look for May of 2026 and seriously look at what's going on in front of you. The only thing I could see stopping it at this point in 2026, we have extended it here, right? We were looking at 2025. We can still look at later stages of 2025 and take it seriously, but we don't have to take it as seriously, in my opinion, now. I genuinely believe that. If you would have seen the 5 push lower, you would have been experiencing more likely a bear market rally at this point. So it would have been more risky going forward. Now I think you're looking at 2026 and you're saying, okay, the early stages or up to May of 2026, I'm going to really watch out. But if Trump's able to pull some crap off here, that could be insane. 10 years creeping up. So the 10-year going up is the worrisome thing for me. I think that's the worrisome thing for me. fresh here. I am choosing not to leave any runners. I am choosing to be out of the move completely. That's a hard decision too. I have a lot of time for Apple actually. I I was so close to getting the reposition for SPY. I wanted this. If you saw from my drawing in the video last night, I wanted this, and then I would have just bought calls here. I would have went for it. Not too big, but damn. Hey, we'll take what we can get though. I'm not going to be mad about a nice 3x trade. Yeah, slot machine, so that tells you a lot about your decisions, right? Tells you a lot about your decisions you have to make because you have information that people do not. All right, we are filled. Man, things are laggy. Do you guys feel this lagginess? I got you, cheers. Yeah, that's all right. It's gonna happen. Wow, everything. I don't know about your guys' stuff. My stuff's pretty laggy. All right, so here we go to start off the day. Big 30-minute move. We look for the pullbacks. This would be great. I kind of hope it wipes all this out. That'd be great. Yeah, still extending down. Dollar might be telling us like, hey, watch out here. We'll see. I think you're more likely to just see a little bit of profit take. I think you're going to leak this thing higher. I highly doubt all of this is given up. I think you're going to do something like this, sit at price, see it curl up, sit at price, and then see one more breakthrough kind of moment. But we'll see. Very nice to start off the day. We like it. We got trading mirrors, of course. It's just the gap up. Good news during the weekends and just gap up nowadays. Yeah, a lot of it is. That's the unfortunate thing. Wannabe, you're pointing out all the things that are just like, man, this is unfortunate. But let's look at something else we mentioned, right? If you're not liking how this market is behaving, and you're like, hey, I can't really do the best with options. Well, let's go look at something that we invested in. We invested in this, all right? The investment was good. Still seeing upside. Earnings coming around the corner, but good upside. We got to watch out for these guys. But good upside. You know? That's just an investment. Great level. Target doing good. Investment went from not looking good to looking great. Then you got to deal with earnings, but hey, it's an investment, right? If it's an investment, then you're just going, hey, if it goes down past my level, I might like it some more. Yeah, that's why I was like, we got to be quiet for a bit, Noah. You got to make sure to try to get filled. You can even put a price that's like 1 cent lower than the suggested price if you have just like a market order or something like that. You can do a cent lower sometimes, and that sometimes helps trigger it. Just a little trick. Just a little itty bitty titty committee trick. You post the dailies in the right. Oh shoot, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we will post those dailies in the right corner for the SPY and the Qs. Sorry about that, guys. It's been kind of a. It's been a morning, you know. If you can only imagine. If you can only imagine what these stocks look like. If you could only imagine, then maybe you'd get it right. Is this my one? No, not that. That's the lunch break one. Frick. No. This one. There you go. Thanks for the tip, Lucas. Yeah, it's just something sneaky. Sometimes you can look at the ask and the bid and just try to match it, like right somewhere in between, slightly to the lower end. Depends. Very nice though. Yeah, just a good little thing. Set career in the pocket. Yeah, got bullied as a kid for singing, and I never sang again. But my mom almost put me on American Idol when I was like 16, and I don't think I'm that good anymore. Used to be better. All right, I want to learn how to scream. That's what I want to learn. All right, good stuff so far. So what do we look for? Well, day traders probably looking for any pullback they can freaking get. That's what I would say. Let's see. Let's see if we get anything else. Man, it feels good to just wipe your hands clean. Have a nice trade. Just wipe those freaking hands clean, you know? Ugh, feels good. Oh, feels too good. Yeah, so bouncing around in this area, I think you're going to see this area as some chop. What we need to figure out is, does that chop lead to a pullback at this point? Does that chop create some kind of little bridge here, some kind of little block, and then break through? That would be very, very good. And then, man, what freaking, what? I know Target has earnings. I bet there's some more other earnings. Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin. I did want to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is reaching the top of the zone soon, right? The top end towards that 106, right? Very important to watch Bitcoin here. It is squeeze. You want to see squeeze-like behavior? Look at Bitcoin right now. The price just leaking higher and higher, refuses to drop, going from like 102 to 10 what? All the way up to potentially 106. This is very good because you'll see that behavior from your MACD. So you know you're squeezing. The crazy part about this is Bitcoin could do this and absolutely pop off. I'm going to let everyone blow their wad. You should go to the Catalina wine mixer. Another bolt. Well, there. Oh, that's dope. Yeah, so for Bitcoin, more so, I think you really got to understand your squeezing, and that's going to stop at some point. Where would you react to? Well, weirdly enough, you would like to see that react to 100K again. You want to see this, or even this. I would say 98.3. I really like this. I think we could delete a lot of these levels, even though we'll keep the top. We'll keep both because they're both very important levels. But you could see this pull down into here if you're lucky, but you could pull all the way back down into here or here now. You technically could. But does this look bearish yet? No. It just looks overbought. It looks like a pullback needs to happen. This is the level we wanted to get to. We want to see that sometimes we want to see it hold up better, or see that meaner, or see it as mean as it can get, and then see it go up. And if we really needed to, where did the buyers step in? Not the second time, but the first time. Boom. We could do this and still see those buyers step in. That's how crazy Bitcoin can be. I'm not a big buyer of Bitcoin still yet. I'm not. That's me though, right? You guys trading it, you can trade it. I like options right now a lot. I've liked options for the past like year and a half, 2 years. Well, why are you offending people for no reason? Come on. I mean, I wouldn't ban you here for that, but if all you're contributing to the chat is bad things about some politician, it doesn't matter who it is. The only one you can make fun of all the time is Nancy Pelosi, okay? I will accept Nancy Pelosi jokes all the time. AMC technicals look great. I think they do on the daily scale. But notice that, look, this is why a lot of people believe that the market has to be going down for GME and AMC to see their moment. I think that's interesting. Doesn't GME have earnings coming up? June 4th. All right, we have reached into the scary levels. Man, well, hold on. Let's see. Let's see if all those bear people who are using a line to tell you bear things, let's see if they're, oh, we're above it now. Now they have nothing. I have nothing. And then when you lose it, they're gonna say, "See, I told you so." Remember what we talked about in the video? They're gonna say this, and they might be right. Right? We might need to go revisit these. But right now, it is super, super, super improbable to even go down to here. It is much more probable to actually go up to here, then reject down and see something like this. Then we start to turn that bad boy around. That's the most probable thing to happen right now. It's like either that or you hold price and you just start to experience bull run. Sorry. That's why we took them off the screen last week for most of the time. The 200 tells you dick all. What matters around the 200 is the price action around the 200, and that's why we went so deep into it last week. Something new. Something has to go completely wrong with the tariff part. Took partials left runner. Nice, Marco. What are the yellow lines? Ifoma, the yellow lines are the monthly expected move. That is as high up for the entire month that the market was expecting to go. Now, I would take into consideration that they did say that they would potentially have something to do with China in the next few weeks in April. So that would tell you that in some way, this move might be priced into the monthly, but not necessarily right now, right? Not necessarily this week. And that's why you're seeing that move outside of the weekly expected move. Microsoft, I think Microsoft already saw its massive move. And I think Microsoft could go higher. I do think Microsoft could go higher. Obviously, the points you're paying attention to, like 448.28, all the way out. You'd actually like to see a peak above these, I think, like above 456.47. I think you'd like to see you peak your head up there, but make good structure afterwards, right? You can do a lot in here, get up to here, then pull it down, and then just see that hold price. There are people who do price action within zones different from me. Some people do mark off zones like this. I am more the believer that you cut through these things like butter. So I would more be paying attention to like zones down in here, like this one right here. I like that one better, but some people do believe that. I haven't seen it proven in my trading too often, but my aim is 450. Is that realistic? Well, we can see if it's realistic just based on monthly moves. Let's see. No. It is for this week though. It is for this week, but the reason that Microsoft might be struggling more than others is Microsoft was outside. I believe it was, yeah, outside. Let's see, because it's a daily. Microsoft was already outside of its monthly move, so a lot of that price action came from the earnings already. So Microsoft is already telling you like, hey, I'm at a critical level for the month of May. Like no matter what level it's at up here, it's above a critical level for the month of May. So 450 is very possible this week. I would say that that's highly probable, right? According to our weekly expected moves. But it's just like, hey, if I got it down here and I caught this, it kind of depends on the timing, right? If I caught it here and it did this and it's squeezing up to 440, you're like, hey, that's good money. I have a lot of time left. I can make money off that. If you're bought it in here and you're looking for 450, then I think you're looking for more things. I think you're looking for this 30-minute to extend a little bit more. That's all I would mostly say about that. I think you're likely to get to 450 this week. I think that's very, very probable according to your weekly expected moves and according to the trend right now. But if this starts to break down, if it starts to show you the way lower, right? And you react back into here and you fail, you roll down all the way into here, then you come up to here and you fail again. If it starts showing you those pathways down, that's when I would heavily be aware of things. Because you have a big gap there. I truly like to think of gaps like, hey, once you get in that gap, it can be gap support at any point, but a lot of the time I think you can cut through it like butter, like you don't have a lot of price action. If you were looking at this, you would look for where in that gap. So the fact that this gap, you look across and you had an important zone that you just blew past, that means more so I would be marking off like this. I would take all of this. I would take all of this and see how price behaves in here. See if you can get like a 2 hour to actually come down into this type of area and then curl back out of it. That would be great. Because if you do something like this, roll down, okay, that's how you head to the downside even further, in my opinion. So that's what I'd probably mark off. You know, I think you can cut through these like butter, but if you see something important, that was important a long time ago. Look at this. It was important. It's very important levels in here. If you hold it across, you look at these lows, you go, bam, this is in it, this is in it, this is in it, this is in it, this is in it. This is just below it, just below it. There's potential resistances in it at the same levels. You can see all the way over here, we were in it. Over here, we were just below it, right? Resistance, resistance in here. There's just a lot going on in this area. So I would say that the next opportunity, if it's going to give it to you, not just blow off to the upside because you're outside of a monthly move, you can see crazy shit. If you're going to see a pullback, I'd be paying attention to like 400 to 425. But we're talking about that now. You might not even see that until like, shit, you might not see that until end of May. Oh, fuck, did I hit my button again? Okay, good. No hitting buttons. Something that'll help us. I'll really be paying attention to futures, possibly talking about futures in tonight's video. And we will be live later today, just so you're aware. So make sure you're subscribed. You can join us later today. Russell had the best move. Russell was up like 4.5%, I think, at some point. It's just holding price. So fantastic to see. Fan-freaking-tastic to see. It's reacting to where? The critical levels. So just be aware that CPI is coming out. These are great moves, guys. The weekly move, these are not correct. I'll give you those. You know, you guys are being nice. We had a crazy move. I think you guys deserve to have some information that'll help you. Okay, it always does this these days. There you go. You're right on it right now. Great move from IWM. 18. Right on that center. Damn. That would be crazy. That would be psychotic. We've seen those things before. We have seen those in 2024. I believe we saw it. I think that Trump move, that 30-minute divergence, saw it where you hit a weekly move and then you immediately go and you do what? You hit the opposite weekly move. But damn, that would be insane. Those are very hard to catch, like a short on. For now, from the SPY, we would like to see any kind of 5-minute pullback. Yeah, any kind of 5-minute pullback. We'll have to find out later. Very nice. We have CPI tomorrow. Exactly, Chris. That's what I'm saying. You guys trade like water, right? Who here trades like water? Raise your hand. We're taking roll. If you trade like water, please raise your hand. Thank you. Because if you're trading like water, what does that mean? You need to be aware of the rocks. The rock over the weekend was this deal with China. And you knew that the price action was still bullish. Even though you're hearing bearish things left and right, and there was a bearish signal, and we said, hey, those happen during these times. That's why we were paying attention to price action. But if you trade like water, you're aware of the rocks. What's your next rock? I would consider hitting a weekly expected move a rock, right? I think you hit a rock this morning. My goodness, too many bears on YouTube. There was nothing bearish about the price action of last week. There was one moment that was bearish during FOMC. The bears were doing what they had to do to make it look bad, but it never actually showed the pathway that was bad. The pathway that was bad that we kept drawing multiple times was literally like the opposite of this. It was like, this is bullish. Even this is bullish. This would be bearish, right? This is literally the opposite. Let's see. You see how it's the opposite? So this is why we kept saying, like, don't understand, be aware of how things would break down and understand the bearishness that can come, but don't tell yourself to be bearish during a bullish time. I need to stop listening to Johnny Bravo. Oh, yeah. That's a click farmer. I will say the swing trading he taught back in the day, as far as like on YouTube goes, when he actually used to do more technicals, was good. It's fine. It's very, very simple, which I like. I would say it's similar, but now it's just it's clickbait. If every single thumbnail has fire in it, it's clickbait. It's to make money off of courses. It's to make money off of YouTube. Just like the news can find something negative every single day, a YouTuber can find something negative every single day. Stay away, my target price in 5 seconds on the open. Strange, like 10% or more move. Hell yeah, Steve-O. Proud of you, buddy. That's awesome. Not to toot my own tutor. May could be bullish since everyone is expecting it to be bearish. Oh God, Trump speaking. This is bad. Oh, we're screwed. Trump, stop it. Oh God, I see it. Oh, fucking, his mic is so bad. I'm not gonna make you guys suffer through that. we're like Trump's talking, pull back. Oh God, it is so bad. You guys, it's so bad. The audio. Anybody listening? Is that scratchy on every single channel? If you're not hearing scratching at all, let me know, because I am listening to straight up scratching. Get yourself a beer? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Seabass. Let's go, dude. Seabass, I'll get me a Guinness with my buddy. Me and my buddy like to drink Guinness. That Irish car bomb vibe, you know? You stay with Apple to hit 216 by this Friday. Thank you. I took profit on Apple completely at right at like 212. Oh, well, not 212. It didn't open at 212. Right at the beginning here, took profit on Apple. So pretty much 210. I'm taking 100% profit. I think it will end up getting to something like 215, 216, maybe even that 217.50-ish. I think it'll get there. But it's, will it get there right now? Is this a good trade for me right now? It is. Because you could see big wipeouts here. I think you're more likely to just see a 5-minute pullback and then extend, but I just don't want to hold through anything that could be bad. If I missed out on the move and I'm a day trader, I'd be looking for the pullback down into this area, right? Overall, on like a 2-hour, this created a big ass block, right? If we kind of mark this off, we're looking for the time where Lucas draws correctly. like this. You're kind of looking for a time where you see that almost do whatever up here, go all the way up here, eventually maybe come back, and then you'll see the next move. That's what I would be. I'd be patient, waiting for the opportunity. I don't think shorting will be like obvious on the first push down. We'll see. If it is, we'll mention it. But you see this, we needed to wipe out divergence. You're wiping out divergence right now. So you're very likely to continue for at least 2 more pushes. I'm sorry, 1 push here, another push over here, a second push. Let me correct that. Exactly, Donald Lumps. Right? Dust off the hands. Okay, Trump's just rambling. This is pointless. That was pointless. All right. So now we look for, okay, daily expected move. Let's do that. Let's get that for you guys, okay? Let's give you guys the daily as well. Okay, let's look at the daily 95% line, okay? I'm going to give you guys that. Crazy, but Patreon, we did not put out the daily second standard deviation, so I'm going to give that to you guys live right now. That would be 580.80, okay? 580.80. What does that mean? If we see anything from the 5-minute that shows us weakness above 580.80, that is when you're most likely going to get your 30-minute pullback. Your 30-minute pullback will take you to potentially where? It will potentially take you to, at the best case scenario, you don't go fill gap and you tap into somewhere around, let's see here. I would say 568 to 570. That is best case scenario. That is extremely bullish. So what we're looking for is any kind, trap towards the end of the day. We sell off. CPI maybe is a reason to come down. And we see if that 30-minute can turn back up. Okay? So there might be an opportunity later, right? If you missed out, we talked about missing out over the weekend. Patience. Now you see direction. Now you see direction. Very, very good. So anything above 580.80 that looks risky, that is your 95% line for the day. So that tells me if I see this, and I see this, and I see it cross back down, we are most likely going to do what? Cross back beneath that. And that might be your pullback. Watch for the break of the previous low, and then watch for the lower high on the 5-minute, right? It's a 5-minute chart. Who's actually worth watching on YouTube? Figuring Out Money. I think FX Evolution could be good. If you like if you want a chill place, like when I'm not live, or maybe you just, like volume profile and things like that more, a little different style, but more of a day trader who likes to do the ES, the NQ and things like that. He'll trade other markets too. Mike Schwartz is he's a good guy, knowledgeable guy. He's pushing a lot of prop firms right now, or he has been for like 6 months. I don't really like that too much. But I don't know enough. I never had to do that. So I would say Mike Schwartz is good. I did look at a REIT trading for you guys. I like a REIT trading. I think he has a good head on his shoulders. I think he had a day last week. It was very easy to have this happen, by the way, even for a good trader. I think he did have a few days last week where he was saying, at least from the thumbnails, I saw bear trap a few times, or bull trap a few times. Bull trap, bull trap, bull trap. You never want to read into those signals too early, and I think that's the problem he might have had. Yeah. I think that, but he fixed it very quickly, I think, on Friday. So I respect that guy. I'm still getting to know him, but I think he's a fine one. I don't watch many YouTubers though, guys. I really don't. I don't like other people's analysis getting in the way of mine. And I say this to you guys as well when you are consuming, say, analysis that I am giving. The best analysis that you are going to have once you actually understand a lot of things is going to be your own. Why? Because you understand your strategy. You understand how you treat money, right? The psychology of money. Me and you think about money differently. We think about risk differently. Okay. So the best analysis is going to be your own. You should just be using other people for a little bit more info or to maybe double check, right? Or asking questions live, right? You want to make sure who you're watching does do live shows, weirdly enough, because if they're not doing live shows, it's very likely that they're click farming. Okay. Someone brought up, you know, anyone that has a bunch of fire all the time and doesn't do live shows, I would highly consider you to really see if that information is helpful over time. That's all. Yeah. I don't want to talk badly about people. I think anyone out there on the internet could be good. It's just I don't have the time to vet everyone. I did vet Elite Trading for you guys, and I think he's pretty damn good. I think Matt Coors is just a piece of work. I think he got bought out. I think Matt Coors is day trading wise, maybe he's successful, and maybe that's why. Like I've literally never watched a Matt Coors video. I never have, not one time. So I couldn't tell you much on that. I'm skeptic about him. That's all I would say. I'm not going to talk like extra badly about people. I would just say make sure that at the end of the day, the analysis was actually helpful. Okay. I think that morning channel, there's like a morning channel called like, I don't know, Stock Market Live or something. There's like a morning channel. Brigade, isn't it? Brigade. I think Brigade's fine. It's just a different style. He does things way differently than I do. I wouldn't say that he's like my favorite, but it's kind of nice, you know. If I'm looking at charts before I go live, I'll flick them on. I like to hear people's analysis. I like to listen in. Sometimes I laugh at people's analysis. Sometimes I don't. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what warrior trading is. I have no idea. Jenny. Yeah, FX is I the main two that I would say I actually watch probably once or twice a month is FX or I like figuring out money. I think figuring out money is great, and he goes live. He day trades live, right? So you can actually go over to his channel at some point if you're more on the day trader side. Thoughts on Starbucks? Let's go look at some fun ones. Starbucks. If I recall, Starbucks, we liked the price. Good. We got the retest of the low, and we were able to show that positivity. That's a very good sign. 2 hour, confirming up with price, confirming up with the RSI. This is a good thing. You're seeing it peek its head out. How high up did it peak? Yeah, you're kind of right to the brink there. Unfortunate. Weirdly enough, this is behaving very poorly. This is behaving very poorly because you keep getting peaks above and peaks below. If I include the whole thing, it's going to be like cheating. But really what you want to do is take like that kind of that closing right there, because the closings over here match up very well. But the reason that Starbucks is going to be complex, say on the options side, is just because you're getting these and getting these. So now you don't really have that direction being shown to you, right? This could have been an overreaction. This could have been an overreaction. This could have been a retest to see if we need to go lower, if the buyers would step in. They did. I would be paying it. Like now is the best opportunity for this to test 93.81. Now is the best time to see if you can break out, retest, and then get up to this type of zone to fill that gap at 99. I would suggest in this area, from what I see in front of me, let me see. Usually when you're bearish like that, like when you're down like this, you don't like to see this for an extended period of time. It's just a hiccup away from going to $68. So risky. Investment wise, maybe not the worst. 2022 low, 2020 low. You're kind of there. You're kind of here, kind of here, kind of here. Did slightly see the pathway higher for the weekly. I would say investment wise, I don't think it's like the scariest. But I would say option wise, you're gonna have to really be paying attention to your management of the trade. It can be a good option here, right? This can be a good move to here. It can be a good move to here. You just need to make sure that you're doing your research on, hey, what would I do if something goes wrong? So how I would treat this is like, hey, 2 hours curled up, 2 hour looks good. There's a gap below. Yeah, we could fill that. So my management of the trade is just if the 30-minute just rotate. If this low's taken out, I'm out. If the 30-minute rotates down, I'm out. But right now, you just took back the center of this. If you can hold up better, that would be best case scenario. But not a lot, a 5% move is nothing to be sad about, but you just haven't seen enough positivity to convince me like, yes, this wants to go higher, right? I've just seen like we're going higher, but it's nothing special right now. So hard one. I would say investing wise, probably an accumulation area with the awareness of like, hey, $68 could happen and that might be a better price. 85 call this week. They're up bigly so far. That's what we like to see. We like to see big numbers. That's good. Like we say, every once in a while, you're going to get one of these. Don't expect these all the time, right? Don't think that this has to go wham, 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 wham. Why? Why would we not see this kind of price action right now? Volatility is now below 20. Volatility is now below 20. And SPY's going, down a little bit to start off, right? It's coming down a little bit, but volatility is not really showing that. So what could happen here for volatility? I would rather see this now and then watch. This will be the 30-minute pullback. This is when you have an attempt to maybe even fill that gap. This means turnaround Tuesday might be turn down Tuesday. Didn't talk about Palantir yet. Hell yeah, Donald Lones, we like it. Is QBTS doing good? As far as Palantir goes, Palantir, very good to take back this area. Very good to take it back. Okay. Did it for now show you the pathway higher? Yes, it did. It showed you the pathway higher. This is not bearish. This is not bearish, okay? The price action you are seeing right now is not bearish. What would make it bearish? Well, you have a high. You just made a new high, right? You have the low. You've already made the new high. How is it bearish? If it starts to break below that, maybe even reacting all the way down into this, curls up, rolls through, curls up, rolls through. This is where the door starts to get very open. Once you break this low, the doors start opening to the downside. For now, this is just a 30-minute off the 5, closing the gap right by the center line. If that curls up, you can go past even this high right here. This means that Palantir might make an attempt to do what? Fill the gap. That is what the price action is telling you now. You have to decide if the timing is right, if your management for the trade's right, all those kinds of things. I'm not someone who's going to take a play on Palantir. I just don't think that's the move at all. I mean, if you take it with a grain of salt, okay, everything else has seen big gap ups and haven't given away the entire move. Palantir has, and now it's filled the gap. So if you see this able to turn to the upside, once again, do your 5 minutes, right? Your 5 minutes. Perfect. Little dip down into here with the wick. Perfect. Okay. Bam. Curl back up. Make a new high here. You've seen the way higher. All right. Keep showing us that way higher. Show us the 5-minute high or low, and we can continue to head to the upside, right? Now it's getting very micro with it. I would probably just be like, all right, where's a 15-minute? Okay, it's curled up. I could even buy it now and say if the 15-minute curls down, I'm out. If the 15-minute curls back up, I'm back in. right? I'd treat it very simply. You know, that's more if you probably don't have one of those like what 25K limit things. Those, what is it? The option, like people have that problem of like day trades or whatever. You're buying short term. Okay. I haven't thought about that, Donald Lumps. I haven't thought about that. All right, this is the area. I'm gonna look at futures for just a split sec. This might actually help us. Okay, this is the okay. So let's see if we can hold up right here. If we can hold up right now might shoot you higher. If you can hold up here, this is your only real block. You have this one and this one. You lost this one, right? We came down into it. We saw the reaction. Okay, we lost it. Now we're coming into here, right? We're not showing the way lower yet, which means we're still likely to see what? A test into here, right? If we could build here, see the way lower, come back in, reject. Now, even if you reacted from down here, you could get to that zone and reject from the bottom side. This being higher than this for the time being, if you start to see good price action, that means boom, you can react to the top side, show that good structure to head in the upward direction. This would actually be great. Just using last night's price action. Down here is where the buyers stepped in again, so down here is where I'm paying attention. I would say potentially even marking this off. Just like that. Taking the bottom of these, taking the tops of these when it started to break out. Awesome. Retest right here. Awesome. Everything's good. Everything is fine here. I think the sell-off would come later. I do want to see that flowiness from the 5 minute. Oh, I don't want that sporadic reaction up right now. We'll see. Let's look if we have to exit and not go lower. For Walmart, what happened to Walmart? I mean, I know I wasn't invested in Walmart. I like Target. As of right now, you're just dipping back into the previous zone. There isn't a lot to worry about here for the time being. You do have earnings coming up, though, very soon for earnings. So a lot can happen around earnings time. Price action, very important. What are you looking for in here? A lot of the time, you're just looking at all this bundle in here, right? I would include the bottom of that and the top of that. I would include all of it this time, right? Because you used it as support. That's why I would include it. I would include all the way to the bottom of this wick, and I would include most of it. This way you get a good idea, and now you can look back on the price action that happened. You can see we peaked our head above, we lost it, rejected off again, able to hold up better. That's very good. We see that break through, giving you a hint of upside, break to the downside completely, break, remain around here, break, break out, retest. Okay, we're in it. All right, we have a good area marked off. If we're going to go higher, retesting into this zone is perfectly fine. Big move up, get a solid retest in, then see if you can turn back to the upside. Watch out for earnings, right? A lot of these type of things, if I just see this E and I click on it and it's happening this week, I'm looking at other things. Anything can happen with earnings. I would say the daily scale here is crossing. That is not a good sign. But you're very back and forth right now in today's price action. So at the end of the day, this is a great move. You can retrace all the way back down into like here as well, or all the way back down. Yeah, so that's what I'd be looking for first. See how it behaves in that zone. If you see bad things, what is considered bad things? It would probably be just a 30-minute chart. You see this maybe even bounce out of this zone, reject from here, fail, come all the way down, reject, fail, all the way down. And maybe it shows you the way lower right here by beating that wick. Yeah, that's how I'd mark it off for the time being. But earnings, it's going to be a rough one. Earnings is always for me. I'm like, nope. Yeah, that's how you're seeing it. Okay, good, Jonna. That's good. If you're seeing it similar to mine, maybe a little different because we think about money differently, right? But that's okay. As long as you're seeing it. As long as you're seeing something. Rusky, thanks so much. Mr. Mafia Man, thanks for subscribing today. Appreciate you being here, bud. Where's Ta? What Ta say? I want to see Ta. Bro, I'm telling you, you need to get on this futures game. I probably should. My wife would hate it, though, I feel like. Like, if I was trading last night, my wife would be pissed. Trade bit, see how you like it. Not for money, you'd kill it. I'll maybe give it a try sometime. Maybe we'll do like a series. The thing is, once the market would calm down, I would maybe do like a series. Doing a prop. Because I've never done one. I think it would be fun. Or just starting a futures account. I don't really need the prop, but we'll see. It's either the price action or the gummies are really starting to hit right now. Pep last week, don't care. Dividend player, nice. Also went for D-Nut. I did see someone mention, I'm sure it was you, D-Nut. The Crispies. Oh. Crispies could see a comeback here. Why is everyone hating on the Crispies so much? I think investing-wise, this has high potential, right? Buy low, sell high. Now it's a risky one. It's going down, 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 down. But from a perspective of just like, hey, if I have a bunch of money and I just want to invest it in if I want to take on some risk, I would say this one. You have to understand these types are the ones you got to be willing to lose the amount. So position size, even in the investment, going to be important. But I don't mind this. I do mind that. I don't think you have good things from your shorter time frames to say turn around right now. So I don't like options with this for sure. I don't like options. It's kind of like an AMC. I don't really like options for AMC too much. But the daily scale is suggesting like, hey, investing wise, this could be good. And even if you just caught that before it goes up to fill this gap at 5 or 910, that would be a great thing. This is the zone you're watching on the daily time frame. And most likely you will test in here again. If not, even all the way into here. This is the more important zone, I would say, but this is your first one you have to pay attention to. That's a crazy one. I think investing-wise, I think it makes sense, investing-wise. Like, I don't think Krispy Kreme is going anywhere, but look at the money they're losing every single time. Jesus. We only have one green. So make America skinny again. Get rid of Krispy Kreme, huh? So that's a risky one, but sometimes risky ones are... obviously, the risky ones end up being the best ones, right? Look at Bitcoin 10 years ago. Risky, 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 but now you're kicking yourself, right? Speaking of AMC, it's finally curling up. Let's go. We need to see a weekly turn up. There you go. Weekly turn it up. But you actually need the weekly to get a closing bar here. What you really need is a weekly closing green bar as far as momentum goes. As far as price action goes, you want to take back $3 very seriously. This isn't updated, by the way, so ignore the purple. But yeah, you want to take back $3 at the least. You can see how we broke down and rejected. Bam. That's the exact level where rejection is very important to see. It never even showed you even somewhat of a pathway higher. It literally just bam. So what you'd like to see here is this to build up. Then once you get across that, you can do this. You'd rather do this, right? You'd actually, if you really want to talk about it seriously, you would probably rather see this never look back, to be totally honest, if you're looking for the mega squeeze. If you want it to behave like a stock, you'd probably want to see like gap fill, come up to this area, break through, tap back down into it, then curl back into positive territory using this as support right here. That's how a regular stock you would like, but AMC, if a big moment happens for AMC, you just want to see a 30-minute curl up and you never want to see it curl back down. AMC, if you're looking for like that $100 price point, you want to look for a sell, AMC showed you a 30-minute divergence at the high. It literally showed you a 30-minute divergence at like 150 or something crazy. DraftKings. I am a terrible sports gambler. For the time being, for DraftKings, I'm gonna ignore. I think the breakouts. I think this. Yeah, I think this one you should ignore it and go like this. Let's see how that lines up. Okay, good. Yeah, see, I want to ignore it just because of this, actually, weirdly enough, and the gap here. I really want to show the importance of that gap. So zones can be an interesting thing. You can kind of, create them for yourself, see how you create them, and then pay attention to how you look into them. We're going to go over them in the full technical analysis course. Still on sale, by the way, 80% off, but we got a lot to pay attention to. DraftKings, still bullish, very bullish here for the 2 hour. For the daily, you're most likely still negative. Actually, you're starting to peek your head into positive. So this is good. As far as the, I would say even 30-minute goes, I think what you want to see here, I think you want to deal with that gap sooner rather than later. I think you deal with the gap, then you see if you can hold that little area of support, you curl to the upside, see if you get one of those peaks up and see if it beats it. See if it beats these levels. That would be the best case. And then you can just curl down. You can come all the way down in the bottom even if you want to, and then curl up into positive. I think this is good. It can start to go bad pretty quick. If you start to like lose these levels, then you use it as resistance, right? You start to lose these type of things, use as resistance, you start heading down to here. So I think it's good so far, but you have to see if it starts to shape up an actual opportunity. See if it shapes up an opportunity or see if it shapes up like, oh, this is going to get bad. As of right now, I think it's showing you that pathway higher. I would like it to deal with that gap first, personally, for that one. SPY, I would even like it if the SPY went and dealt with that gap tomorrow. Thank you for the blessings. Let's go, Oscar. Let's go watch a movie. You bet your ass I'm gonna go watch Stitch. Think I have this tattoo for nothing? I love that little monster. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind. Oh, God, what a movie. What a film. I hope it doesn't suck. Short on Amazon. I'm not inclined to short in these environments. Someone who's keeping me in check with that, I think, is Dave. Dave G in the chat. No, it's not necessarily normal. You don't see gaps in ES very often. Hey, I hear you, Richard. Let's go get some big Bavarian pretzels and watch some Stitch. Doesn't have to be at AMC, bud. I wish baby girl liked movies already, but she can't pay attention for that long. If you didn't know, Bavarian pretzels with like jalapenos and cheese. Woo! That's like one of my favorite things on this planet. Okay? Like, show me a Bavarian pretzel with cheese and some jalapenos, and then like put my wife on the other side. Whew, I'd have to think about it for a second. No, don't tell her that. She probably heard me. Where rates should come down, that'd be great. As of right now, they are turning up, dude. They will come down, but they will come down at the point of destruction. At the point of destruction. Yeah, we have a place here called Prost, and a German family runs it. They are so kind And my goodness, give me some of that beer cheese, the beer rocks, the pretzels, the glizzies. Damn. As far as Amazon goes, I mean, I think it's not the best decision to be, say, long. You'd be more looking at fading, right? Are we not going to test down today? At some point you will, but people have to get more trapped first. People who retail in the morning who think I'm going to fade this have to believe that that fade is going to fail. That's what I think. So I think you're going to see more nonsense. I think you could drop lower than this. Actually, no. We were looking at futures for this, correct? Or at least the XBX. Yeah, you're right in the area where you want to hold up, actually. I think you actually want to fool around in here for a bit more time. See another upside move. You probably fool around down here for a long time, though. You might sit. We'll see. As of right now, I think patience is a good thing. I mean, fading the move, it can make sense. Fading can always make sense. Have a great day, Team Maker. Thank you for coming today. Get me a nice Stein. Put on my, shoot, what's that thing called? What's the thing called that everyone wears during, like, Oktoberfest? I have one. It's cheap as hell. It's not a nice one, but I have one. Yeah, Lederhosen. That sounded very like Norwegian or Swedish. These are going to wear our Lederhosen. That's just, I mean, at that point, I'm just being racist. When RSI is at 90, is that a no-brainer put? No. Things can remain very irrational, right? You've heard that before. Rational for longer than you can remain solvent. That's why if you're not an experienced, person who's really experienced fading, I fade some moves. I'm not fading a move that has that news behind it right now. I'm not going to fade it. Even if it drops down, I'm not going to kick myself. I'm going to say we're at a very bullish tilt. So I believe that the next trade will be a bullish one down here. I believe the next trade will be a bullish one down here. If you're looking for like, hey, I missed out on this. I think you're looking for the moment where maybe you extend, I think, into end of day. You start to drop back in end of day. Then I think you see maybe something like this. That might be the next opportunity if the market decides to be nice and give it to you. So let's look at daily expected moves tomorrow, and we can start to read into pullbacks, okay? Because we are going to be talking about pullbacks now. I mean, look at the RSI. Like, thank you for pointing out the RSI, but my goodness, I mean, come on. Like, mark that bad boy off and tell me that most of the time we can see how it goes above it. But is it a very long time? Sometimes, but we've touched there multiple times now. I think you continue to go a little higher, but I think for now you're just like, hey, I'm hoping, if I'm not in this move right now, I'm hoping for a pullback. Entry for SPY, I'm paying attention to 568 to 570, if not gap fill, 563. If not there, and we see something ugly, we're still paying attention to what? This zone, right? This one right here. This one right here is very important. It says if you see some kind of dump, look for if that starts to turn around, right? If it rolls from there, that's where it gets bad. I don't think so. I think it's up for OpEx, and I think you're going to see fake outs that look really interesting, I would say, to the downside to tell you like, oh yeah, it's going down. Make sure you understand if we're in a positive trend. Make sure you understand the price action here. If you do not lose this, right? Why did we test into here? Well, this right here. So if you don't lose this, and then if you lose that, it's okay. It just starts to get worrisome. But if you don't lose this, then there's just no pathway. There's no pathway. So if you just do this and not even fill the gap and you just turn around, That's good. And that is actually what projects you higher. Now you will see. By the way, you will see. We'll pull up the options data tomorrow. We'll pull up some Max Payne. And now you'll see people reach out to the 590s. You'll see people reach out to the 595s. So the next trade obviously is not going to be at the high, right? That's not the good, consistent decision over time to make me a good trader. The good decision is if the market gives me the pullback, take it, and then look if that thing has what I need it to have to turn back up. Believe in the lumps. Could this be the start of a pullback? Yeah, it can be. I don't think it is, personally. I'm trying to read into futures more and more, or like some kind of futures. What I'm looking at is if you lose this, you're going to see the pathway down. So we might lose the low. We lost the low, so look for the pathway down. That means now we can reject from here. We could go all the way up and reject from here. We can go all the way down to where? Look at this, okay? So now you're looking for that price point about 57.37. When did this take place? Sunday. So I don't think we'll see that in the SPY. Yeah, I don't think we can see that in the SPY. We can see how much data it gives us. Okay, it's probably right at gap though. Okay, so right here. So daily expected move. Daily expected move. That could just be a 5-minute pullback at this point. That's crazy. Yeah, daily expected move would be the next point to pay attention to in my mind. We'll see if it can get a snapback in some way, but this leads to the doors open to a retest here. 572.50 is what I'd watch. See if we do that. Then we maybe see a sporadic move up. We see this on our MACD. Everyone says, yay, we're going to 590. We drop down with CPI. CPI comes out. People read into it bearish. We see how price behaves here. And then we potentially get more tariff stuff to juice people up to go to the upside. And then we might be talking about the pullback after options expiration. So we'll see. Retail hours over. Let the doom commence. Now we really want to see that PCC go up by the time we get to 572.50. That would be good. Not too high. I would rather see it actually go neutral and then go back to bullish after we see good price action. That's what I would like to see. I want a bull trap going into the way that it's extending, this might extend into the 21st. We pulled up, we actually put out the picture of expiration. If you guys need those, I can pull it up again. Sold it open, now puts on AMT up 50%. Hell yeah, Josh, fades. Right? Yeah, someone asked, is it usually a good idea to, when you hit one of the expected moves, just to fade the move? I would say more so if it's one of the dotted lines. If it's a second standard deviation, your fade is very likely to pay off in some way. I would just, not be looking for 100, 200, 300, 400%. I'd just be like, I want a nice little trade here, 20% to 50%. Yeah, we have no data in here, so it's going to be hard to do with the SPY. But as you have seen the pathway lower now, you can start to reject. We'll see. We are still not necessarily in the danger zone. I think you could see a 5-minute pullback all the way down to here, and it could go all the way back up. I would rather it set up the bigger pullback later. Actually, I'd rather see this right now. I want to see that. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Like I said, I'm not going to be shorting. Nope. Too bullish of a trend. I'm not going to fight the trend here. I'm going to look for the next bullish trade. So I'll be looking for whenever we see the 30-minute curl down and actually come down into this area, or a 2-hour curl down and come into this area. Worst case, I think gap fill. Actually, worst case for bullishness would be all the way down to 561. into this block in some way. The better case would be the high. The best case would be test the high. The better case would be fill the gap. I think there's going to be an opportunity in here for the next move. Don't make me phone. Don't make me do it. And stop it. Yeah. Great stuff. I just wish I had even more exposure, honestly. If I'd have kept those SPY calls, oh my goodness, today would have been a insane day. Like, I could just not trade for 2 months. Instead, it's like, okay, I could not trade for 2 weeks. I would have gone on vacay if I had those SPY calls still. You kept them, Sebastian? How they looking? They smell good, don't they? They're probably looking nice. At least I had a bunch of Apple. I had a decent size of Apple. I think I had like, at one point I had like 40 contracts for this week. 40. That would have been. We haven't really looked at NVIDIA, but NVIDIA is going to the critical level, 221 or 121. Going into resistance, the trend resistance, but peaking its head above, right? Peaking its head above. That's good. What we want to see here is a pullback. Will we get it? Potentially, right? Is the 30 minutes showing you risky things now? Not necessarily. This is way extended at this point. The way that this is ruined, by the way, is if you lose this level again. If you start to lose 111.50 again, somewhere in that area right here, you start pretty much, you say, you lose that wick, the pathway down is very obvious. And I would say you'd probably see the pathway down get set up if you just see this and you're like, okay, that's coming back. And then it rejects from right there, right here. So a lot of price action to keep up with right now. It's hard for me to remember, but all I know is this is exactly where I wanted to watch for a pullback for NVIDIA. If it's going to be more than a pullback, then the price action has to tell me. And right now, the SPY and the Qs look too hot and heavy to be considered like awful. Really have runners. I'm trying to get better at that too, Steve-O, though. I'm trying to get much better at having some conviction a little bit more, leaving those runners. Jester, thank you so much for subscribing, by the way. Yeah, looking for, and I've done better with it, right? I started hedging a little bit better. I've really improved that side of my stuff over the last like 2 months, literally 2 months. I've gotten much more efficient at it. So, you know, acknowledging and saying out loud the things that you have proven to be like, hey, I'm improving at this. Let me continue this. What made me improve? Your Patreon video this morning had so much value. I really didn't. I was kind of just like, I got to tell you something. And the main thing about that was just like decision-making area. Let's not overhype this. It's a great thing, but let's understand that markets move how markets want to move, right? We need liquidity. We need this. We need that. All right. And then talking about, hey, the value of the options, right? They could be even better than you expect if the premium is good. I was so hyped till you're. I just clamped down on you real quick, Sebastian. No, that's good. Cool off, right? It's like, yeah, the shooter who has the hot hand, he has the hot hand when he's open, when it's obvious, when it's good, right? And everything matches up. But if that defender comes across and he's in the right place at the right time, you're taking a wild Steph Curry shot. I don't know if you're gonna make that, you know? Let's just calm down and appreciate that we had the hot hand. And now it's like halftime, right? You're chilling out. Halftime. All right, cool. Let's chill out. Let's look at what we did right. Let's try to repeat that process because you're in a market that is sell the rip, buy the dip. Now we got to figure out where that dip is depending on your strategy, right? Depending on how you do things, how long of options you take, how much risk you want to take, all that kind of thing. Unless your name is Steph Curry, then it doesn't matter. Facts, dude. I've been watching those highlights. The only time I watch NBA is this time in the season. I actually feel like they're competitive. Let's go into the 5-minute, just see how this thing's shaping up. Holding up well, but we lost that level. I don't like the fact that we lost that level according to futures. I don't like this. You've opened up the pathway to come down deeper. And so that's why we're going to watch for even just a 5-minute pullback all the way back down to like 572 is possible. I don't know. I'm still looking for sideways a lot and then see if we can get that reversal signal to tell us when this is coming. Oh, 20 with the euros from Seabass. Hey, thank you so much, Seabass. I appreciate you. I wanted to make sure Patreon members that we're giving you some benefit over there. So even if it was a video for me coming out and just being like, hey, this is great. I understand it's great. We should celebrate it. Celebrate it for like 2 minutes. Hit that sell button. Go have some breakfast. Go work out. And then come back and markets will still be here. You can be plenty patient with it. You can take your time. Calm down, and then come back because you have to repeat the process again, right? It's like a loop. You got to go through the loop, and the part of the loop that you want to skip is the part where you make a mistake. I don't watch the Cavs. I don't watch the Cavs. I actually like watching. I like watching Ant-Man. OKC has been doing some great basketball, but that last game sucked. Like, what the hell were both teams doing? My goodness. All right, now we're looking for if the 5-minute can reject from the previous zone. That would be right in here. If we can retake that, use it as support, you might see this go up to, let's see here. Let's see if we could cheat this a little bit. How high would that extend? That's too high. That's too high. There's no way to really get a good measured move here, I feel like. Can we use futures? I don't know. Tom might have to give you the level. I would say this. No, that's not going to be long enough. Maybe this guy. 587. That would be a 1.4, 1.5% move. That's too high. Is 586 too high? I feel like I want to chop that down a little bit and say 584. Like 584 would be the next point to pay attention, but more so just this. If we get outside of this, pay attention. 95% of the time you will see that, but you are experiencing a 5% moment and it's a daily. Just be aware. It literally was rocky. It was disappointing. Oh, 583.06. Thank you, Dimitri. There's a gap there. My bad. Did I miss out on the gap? Oh. Hold on. The high here, 581. 583.46. I don't necessarily. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd be looking for it to extend into the. Oh, okay. Here, this is going to be cheeky. I bet you this on the shorter time frame shows you something. 584. I would say 584. If you catch something nice, if you're a day trader, you catch something nice to 584, I would say good job. That's what I would say. Slayer36. Thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate you being here. Orange Man wants to be nice to the CCP. Why? If you want to make a deal with someone in business, I did deals all the time when I ran my business back before, COVID. I ran deals all the time. There's always a back and forth. You know the stupidest thing to do when you want to make a deal with someone, when you want to produce and have stuff back and forth, is really piss them off. Is like really offend them. People understand business. This is not offensive to China for us to say, hey, we don't want to pay these tariffs anymore, and we think, you've been taking advantage of us. That might make them mad, but is that making them mad at us? Or the fact that those tariffs, the situation they were in could go away? It's the situation they're in that could go away. As long as Trump does not say Xi is short and his hair is stupid and he's got a dumb face, I'm fine with whatever happens. Do you get what I'm saying? Being nice in a negotiation and being stern in a negotiation are two good things. But kissing someone's ass or kicking their ass should not take place in a negotiation unless you're in a bad spot. That's why I think the UK was talking him up. And people were saying he's kissing ass. And you're not realizing it's just like he's just glad a deal's done to where they're not being tariffed into oblivion now, right? They're able to work with each other. That's a good thing. Now, when those reporters or the people around Trump start to kiss, that's kissing ass. That has nothing to do with the situation. The information they give is good. And then afterwards they say, and this wouldn't have happened without Trump. Who the hell cares? The point is you have to take into consideration what actually matters. He might say that. He might, Mr. Easy Street. But what has he been overall saying? Has he ever said, Xi's a dumbass and I hate our relationship? No, he says the opposite. That's very good to do. It's very good to be like, no, we're going to work with each other. And it's always, we're going to work with each other. We're going to have a good relationship because we're going to work with each other to do the best we can for our people. That is, since when is that a bad thing to say? Like, I don't get it. I think people are too political with everything now and need to take a step back and just take it from a critical thinking standpoint. It's like, is he offending him? Like seriously offending him on a personal level? That's not good. Is he doing a negotiation tactic? If you don't want to tell the car dealership if you have a trade-in or not to try to get the negotiation to go your way, is that really disrespectful? Even though the car dealership isn't going to like that, is that disrespectful to them? No, it's not disrespectful to them. Now, if they tell you the price of a car and you cuss at them, call them an a-hole, and scratch a car on the way out, are they going to let you do business there? No. There's a big difference. Damn, sick, really? Okay. Okay. God damn, someone's is that lottery stocks, Richard? Is he loading the boat on Tesla? Like, what's going on there? I don't think he's got that much money. That's crazy, though. 6 million calls. Now, I would have 6/6? June 6th? I don't see that for Tesla, but Tesla does crazy things. you did the douchiest thing. Okay, that's kind of douchey though, Easy Street. That is the douchiest, but it's still not like disrespectful necessarily to them. But Easy Street did this. If you actually did that, that's fucked. Like, so you get them to do all the work and you get the lowest monthly payment. And then after they get you the lowest monthly payment, you say, now, does all that change if I have a trade-in? And then they take the trade-in into consideration. They're like, we just need to sell a car to this guy. We're going to get him out of here. And then they give you the trade-in value. They give you the update. And then you go, oh, okay. Now, what if I paid cash? I could get cheaper than that, right? Oh, that's so fucked. I'm not gonna lie. That is the best way to negotiate for yourself, but that is the that is the art of the deal at the car dealership. I'll put that. What happened today? Good things. What happened today? is people decided to buy because they like what happened over the weekend. That's what happened. And then you're seeing some profit taking here. It doesn't look like any kind of big upsetting moment yet, but we are kind of seeing that rejection now, aren't we? We'll see if we fully reject out of the zone again and lose the low. We're gonna include all the price action. Yeah, if we get to here, I mean, you could probably make it small. You could probably make it like this. That's probably better, honestly, but I want to include the high of day. If we reject from here again, you've seen the pathway lower. So you reject here, that's that roll. You could roll, dump off, see if you get something here, and then see if that curls back up later today. I'm kind of inclined to believe that we just keep price kind of pinned. Then we see an upside move. Then we see that thing start to 30-minute pullback. I think there's too much risk going into CPI. That's genius. Yes, Rocky, that is the best way to deal with a car dealership. A car dealership specifically. A big car dealership specifically. I would not do that at used car lots. They will tell you to get the fuck out. I would not do that at used car lots. Like those little side ones. Tesla's hitting 400. Let's see about 328 first, okay? Let's see about 328 first, all right? Let's see if it can get there first. As of right now, I think that's almost directly into the weekly expected move, so we'll see. Not seeing the pathway higher just yet. All right, let's see if we reject now. I think they would like to, if there's going to be a sell-off with CPI, I would expect to see another high in the later stages of the day. See one dip get bought, then retail goes in, then another dip comes in, and retail thinks, oh, we're going to buy that, and then you see CPI come out. Yeah. The funniest thing is, I dare you, Rocky. I dare you to do that whole process and then don't buy the car and say, all right, now I got to just go check with some other dealerships. I'm going to go look somewhere else for a little bit. Let me go check. Let me write that down. I'll go check with these other guys, see what they want to do for me. That's the next step, and that is where you have to just have like no soul as a human being, because you're pretty much taking the whole commission out for the guy. And to just take it, just do all of that, and then be like, all right, let me go check with my buddy. He actually owns a dealership down the road. You guys sell Ford? Yeah, he actually owns a Ford dealership down the road too. So, but he also he has a connection with Toyota. He wants to see this Toyota. Yeah. Well, they will hold the car for a month right now, Sebastian. They will hold the car for a month right now. The turnaround rate, or the off the lot days to sale, whatever it is, days on the lot is reaching over a year on like every single vehicle. So I had a buddy who was excited. I don't know. He's a buddy of a buddy, so you know I can be critical of him. They bought a brand new truck like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, it was expensive. Like, you just paid 100 grand for a truck. That's probably going to be like 40 grand next year. If you just waited a year, waited for the new line, and we see the car market actually continue to flop. Yeah. And then if the car market does plunge into oblivion, do you go to a dealership? Or do you just look at the guy who bought that $100,000 car and then see what they'll take for it? That's more. Cars are fun. Cars are interesting. Okay, this is good. We're not seeing rejection yet. We are getting to the center point. Let's include. Oh no. We don't want to cheat. There you go. It lines up to what? Weekly expected move. Very nice. Now I would like to see, I actually would like to see this hold structure and go higher now. I would like to just see it go bam, bam, bam. I'd like it to fool around here on the 5-minute. That'd be great. Give him 5K. That legitimately, I don't know about 5K. It might be like 25, but you're saving 75%, aka what you could have bought Tesla for a few weeks ago, 75% off, 66% off. Supply and demand. It depends. How underwater is he? Yeah, how underwater are you? Like, can you not at all make that payment and you need the 25K just to get by? Oh, also, you can even look for people who got good loans on stuff and assume their loan. That's more of an early stages thing to do, I think. Everyone's YOLOing from what I see. A lot of people YOLOing. Okay, all right. This is good. Oh, that's not too good. Wait a second. I spoke right at the wrong time. I was looking at something else, but let's look at I'm gonna look at volatility on my other screen. Still kind of looking for that. Oh wait, let me look at this. Yeah, still looking for that solid look from volatility. I don't see it just yet. But Jonna, how'd that Apple thing go for you? You like that Apple thing? It was pretty nice. Pretty nice, pretty nice. We like it. God, should just held on to those spy calls. Silly Lucas. I just was like, what if the deal didn't happen? I'd be like, damn it. So I guess I should just not beat myself up, you know. I'll just appreciate the great trade. Made a lot from the Apple calls. That's great. Yeah, Apple, you really wanted to pay attention to. It showed a reversal signal, and that's a super like China related stock. Apple was telling you the hints. That's why I liked it so much. Hopefully, I'd love for Apple to go fill that gap down there. Having trouble claiming VWAP on shorter time frames. I believe that. Is your VWAP right here? Because that would add more credibility to this area. You can see how we go to the upside. Actually, with structure more. Yeah, you could see something like hold up in the zone, cross up, boom, boom, boom. That would be nice. Just watch if you start seeing that pathway down. I would be very, if this didn't fade the whole move right away, like see a 1, 2, and then curl back up, I'm very hesitant to say. I think this would more so be the 30-minute pullback, but we'll see. You got a long time today now. Is Meta telling us hints though? It's at its monthly expected move with divergence on the 2-hour. Ooh. Meta. It has the divergence, but this is going to be very hard to confirm, right? What I would say here is look for the 30-minute hints, right? The 30-minute is violating like all of this, right? So if the 30 minutes violating everything here and you just made a new push, I always like to think, I always just tell myself, hey, this can go twice. Twice is where I'd be more worried, weirdly enough. Then you might get that 2-hour to pull back, going to a 2-hour chart. Then you get that 2-hour to pull back, fill this gap. Then I think you could see that explosion, maybe into Vixpiration, weirdly enough. It's kind of timing out to be actually bullish into Vixpiration. I think that's interesting. I was kind of expecting a sell-off into Vixpiration. Look at that tiny box on a 2-hour. So it might be telling you something because it's outside of the monthly move, but is it telling you it right now, like the exact timing? Yeah, Vixpiration. It's when like the VIX expires. I have the screenshot here for you. You guys want to see it? You guys need the VIX expirations. You have the May 21st. May 21st. So if you want, you can take a picture of this with your phone, screenshot it for your computer, just so you're aware of these dates. I treat them as almost just as important as OpEx. That's going away. Rejection off the center here. Still would be edge to who? Who has the edge on this 5-minute chart? On your indicators, the edge is with still the bulls. So the trend is overall still bullish. The price action is suggesting that the bears have the slight advantage right now, but that can quickly change on a 5-minute chart. What does it mean though? It just means you could see it's like an options expiration. It's like another OpEx to me. Max Pain, we just use for levels, okay? So if we pulled up today, Max Pain for today, right? We can pay attention to what? There's a few things. One, the bearishness, right? Is this updated? One, the bearishness, right? So you can see how people are going underwater with this move and how you're probably going to extend this move, right? Especially if you hold price. The other thing is the important point. So 550, look at that, 550 this week. Actually really important. Those are probably going to go away though. 570, 575, 580. Okay, so those are my 3 bullish points. Where did we make it to? 580. So 570, 575, they could be taking profit. 580s could be taking some profit. But there are a lot of people who will hold the 580 to see if this continues to what? 585, 590. For today, I would pay attention to 584 if we're able to get there. I think you want to mess around in here for a while before you see that, but we'll see. And it is already time for me to get off. Damn. So I will have to be hopping off today right now, unfortunately, but we did see some good upside. I think the main thing for today is just decision-making areas. You have that second dotted line right here for the daily to tell you, hey, am I experiencing something crazy for the day that can get rug pulled from me? Yes. For the week, you have 595.90, 595.90, and then remember that you have a rock in your stream going into tomorrow. Okay, going into tomorrow, we still get CPI. Going into tomorrow, we are seeing yields react pretty heavily to the upside as of right now. Everyone's going to chase this move. And we understand that how stocks move, we most likely need to dip into where? We most likely need to dip into here or here to actually see that get to 590. Okay, so most likely thing is you're going to see something like this. Then we'll see something like this. We might leave the gap behind still, just testing into 570 to 568. You curl up to 590. Then we actually see the 2-hour pull back. Maybe on Thursday, Wednesday, I don't know if we get earnings or something like that. Then we can see that surge through. Watch out for 2-hour divergence up in these levels. That's what it would overall say. I think that could extend into next week. It doesn't have, this is just drawings on a chart. We have to see the price action prove what's going on here. Tons of different things can happen, and we'll be watching that with you live here on YouTube. We'll be updating you on YouTube videos at night, so make sure you're subscribed. And then at the same time, we have YouTube live for all the power hours. We're continuing the power hours mainly for times like this, right? Crazy, crazy times, squeeze times where we can really learn something. We're extending that for power hour here on YouTube, which normally we do it over on Rumble, so make sure you subscribe so you can join for those. Other than that, guys, I just appreciate you guys being here. Thank you to my Patreon members who showed some appreciation for the video this morning, because I know that people can see something and get way too excited. So I just wanted to be that voice to bring you back down, sit you back in that chair you're probably sitting in right now, and just be like, all right, we had a good trade, right? Let's mellow it out. Let's make it as simple as we can. We had a good trade. Now we might need to go into that patience period. so that we can be prepared for the next trade, okay? Very, very nice. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, donating, Seabass and others. Thank you guys so much for donating today. Really appreciate it. My wife appreciates the donations from last week. Thank you guys for celebrating her on her only second Mother's Day. Fantastic. So thank you, thank you, thank you. She was very excited to get out there, and she wanted me to shout out thank you to you guys multiple times. So we're doing it. But for today, we just have to understand decision-making area. So make those decisions, and whatever decisions you make, you have to live with. So be very comfortable with those decisions if you decide to make them today. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Peace out. Have a great day, and I will see you towards the end of today live here on YouTube, okay, for Power Hour. Peace out.